It's 2024 and we're already hunting for our next favorite bourbon. Today we're going to give you our top 12 bourbons of 2024 that we're looking forward to. We're on the hunt already, fellas. What are those next bourbons we're looking for today? We're going to give you a top 12 list of things that we'd like to see this year come to the turret. Aaron, what are your top 3, buddy?
Every year I have to go with the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
Of course you do.
I know it was my entry into bourbon. And now I'm starting to get into that Larceny Barrel Proof range where Larceny last year, their A123 and their C923 happened to rank second and third on Fred Minnick's top 100 of the year.
So you're going to be able to find this every day of the week.
You wish you could. With that, I'm afraid the price is going to go up, but
yeah.
I hope not.
Thanks, Fred.
You can normally find it for about $70, and I have to agree. The Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and Larceny Barrel Proof, I have gone back and forth with Larceny, wish-washy on which barrel I liked and which I didn't. A123 let me know that Larceny was in the game.
All right.
C923 let me know that Larceny was here to stay. And so one of my favorite bottles of the year, I want to try that A124. It's coming in at 124 proof. It just released. It's out. We can find it, hopefully. But Larceny Barrel Proof and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, that's one of. My next has to go with Little Book 8.
Oh, yeah.
So Little Book 7, we did an episode with Little Book 7, and Little Book Chapter 7 was one of my top whiskeys of the year. And I tell people, you ask me what my number one whiskey of the year is Little Book Chapter 7.
I'm like the monkeys. I'm now a believer. I'm a Little Book hater.
I hope, I know you are, because it's finished and you're not a finished fan. So if we have the opportunity, I really hope that Little Book Chapter 8 reaches up. Now, I know that Little Book Chapter 8 is going to be 119.2 proof. I know that it's going to be partially finished in sherry cask. That's all I can find out. And I know that it's going to be released in August.
Okay.
So Little Book Chapter 8 is my second pick. My third happens to be Russell Reserve 15 year, So we have had 13. This is going to be one of those bottles that nobody can get their hands on. Hopefully we get our hands on at least one so that we could try it. Non-chill filtered, 117.2 proof, 70% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. It's going to be one of those bottles that you have to get your hands on. This is the oldest Russell's Reserve bottle ever released.
And when's it hitting?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
They have not released that information. We just know it's going to happen sometime in 2024. If I was guessing, about the time that Russell's 13 hit last year, sometime in the fall.
All right, so you're going to be standing in line for that one. And you mentioned your favorite of last year. And today what we're drinking is some fantastic E.H. Taylor rye bottled in bond.
Well, I don't know if it's fantastic yet. I've never had it before.
Well, it's my favorite from last year, so I know it's fantastic.
Oh, my Lord.
But
nose is made. It's been a while since I've had this one. But so I'm excited to try it.
I had a pour of this at Beverage Barn, and I fell in love. And thank goodness I got my hands on a bottle thanks to my favorite liquor store owner.
Okay, so
speaking of liquor, that probably was. So before we get too deep in Taylor, Brian, what's on your top 3?
So Aaron and I had a fight over this one. Old Forester 1924, the oldest of the Old Forester series to date of the 1910, 1920 of all those. It basically pays homage to the Brown family, who in 1924, 100 years ago, decided to take certain mash bills and store them in their warehouse in Louisville, Kentucky. So 10-year-olds could be very limited. I think MSRP is like $500.
Oh,
super expensive.
I can't wait for you to bring that here.
Yeah, exactly. I'll sell it to Brian, and I'm sure he'll let us enjoy that. Which Brian Chen, he's off camera here, but he's here pouring his bourbon and stuff. So, but yeah, Old Forester's my first one. My second one is Green River Rye.
Oh, yeah.
So Green River is probably one of my favorite top 3 craft distilleries. For the value, for what they offer, it's just exceptional. They're traditional bourbon.
I don't really think you can even call them a craft distillery. I mean, they're
massive. They're a massive producer of
they're
selling other people's products.
Their brand is kind of a craft brand,
Correct.
but they're a huge producer.
Yes,
and I love
so the
Green
likes
River.
of like MGP. You know, I mean,
They're
you know,
big.
Some of my favorite juice comes out of that.
Oh yeah, but the brand of Green River is what I'm talking about.
Speaking of MGP, you said Green River Rye. That's 95.5, correct?
Correct. Very similar to what MGP does. So I'm curious to test that side by side with some of MGP's product to see the taste difference. And of course, it's aged here in Kentucky. You know, not too far from MGP, but I'm sure there'll be some taste difference there as well.
If they do the treatment to the rye that they've done to their weeded product, man,
their weeded product was all over.
Yeah.
Everybody's top.
Everybody's
whatever.
list.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I'm not a weeded fan, as many of you know, but I really enjoyed that Green River weeded. I mean, I would take it over, you know, some of Buffalo Trace weeded products all day. I know, don't hate me on social media for saying that.
That's a big statement.
You can send your messages to Brian at distillbourbonpodcast.com.
So yeah, that's my second. My third one is probably a surprise to a lot of people. It's a distillery outside of Kentucky.
What?
Yeah, Chattanooga Distillery. Have you guys had anything from Chattanooga?
Interesting.
You guys are
Chuck, you've
missing
never
out.
had any
No, sir.
Chat whiskey?
No, sir.
111 Chattanooga.
Chat whiskey's amazing.
It is. So it's actually distilled there. I've been to the distillery. It's a cool experience. So they do something very unique there. It kind of reminds me, when I went there, I didn't know much about cellar aged. But what they do is they store all their barrels in their basement.
Okay.
Which is, you know, the temperature is much cooler than, you know, a traditional rick house, if you will, in the summertime.
Right.
Which I think that helps in the taste profile and gives their bourbons a unique taste profile, just like Maker's Cellar Age, which was a 12-year bourbon. And then I think Buffalo Trace is doing some experiments with Cellar Age as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to their actually, let me look at it. I can't remember what it was. Oh, their Chattanooga, just their new bottled and bond that they're releasing in 2024. I think they're releasing it in May timeframe. So if you find that, I think you should definitely give it a try.
Cool. Sounds great.
Cool.
Well, Chuck, what are you looking forward to in 2024?
Well, these boys got ahead of me, and they picked some of
Yeah,
my.
you were last.
I was kind of last. I'm really a fan of Yellowstone. I'm really a fan of Limestone Branch Distillery, Lebanon, Kentucky. I do like Yellowstone whiskey, not because I'm a gigantic Yellowstone TV series fan, although I've watched a few episodes and
it's good.
It's good stuff. But they're going to have a limited edition bourbon again. Last year when they did it, it was a blend of like a 7-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 16-year-old bourbon, and then they finished it in a Tokay barrel. So Tokay is a Hungarian wine. It's a white wine. I think it's typically a sweet wine.
The only place I've ever seen Tokay is Starlight, and it's got a blue label, and I've had a chance to taste that at the distillery. Phenomenal.
Okay,
so I can't wait.
So I'm curious. Once again, it might be a cocktail in a bottle.
It's not.
Okay.
It will be delicious.
Okay. I trust the people at Yellowstone. I think that would be a cool bottle to get my hands on. I think it's going to be released in August. Then I kind of copped out. In October, ladies and gentlemen, you may not know this, but Buffalo Trace is going to release their antique collection.
Yeah, I might have heard something about that.
I bet nobody knows about that.
Nobody knows about BTAC.
Are you going to stand in line in Frankfurt for that one?
I won't. I really won't. But there are some of the products in that line that I'm really not a fan of.
What's your favorite BTAC release?
Probably the Eagle Rare.
Sure.
The Sazerac Rye, I mean, I respect the company a lot. I'm just not. I like rye. I don't like Sazerac rye. I like their bottled Sazerac cocktail. I think it's awesome.
The Sazerac 18-year, I have said forever.
All right.
And quote me on this. Awful.
So
wow.
It's 80 proof. Why would you take an 18-year rye and
proof it so low?
Proof it to 80 proof? Can we have Sazerac 18 at 110 proof.
I don't
And
know
I'm
why.
buying it all day, every day. Harlan Wheatley, call me, because I'm telling you right now, if you did Sazerac Rye at 110 proof, no, you're not going to get as many bottles. You don't need, it doesn't matter.
You can raise
People
the
are
price
going to buy
$50.
it. Raise the price.
Yeah. So I will say about BTAC, of all the Buffalo Trace products that are overhyped, I think the BTAC offering is the best that they actually have to offer.
Yeah.
George T. Stagg, W.O. Weller, Eagle Rare 17. I mean,
William LaRue.
William LaRue.
Weller.
Yeah. Thank you, Chuck.
I'm
Yeah.
going to try
They have so
every
many
one I
ways.
can get
They
my
do,
hands
yeah.
on.
It's crazy.
Everyone.
Yep. And for $119 MSRP this year, if you find it for that, you better buy it.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to someone else getting to drink it because I probably won't. And for my last one, I'm going to go with Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse. I think this will be the third year that Wild Turkey has done this. I have all the respect in the world for the Russells, for Jimmy and Eddie Russell, and they take a few barrels out of the center of a particular rickhouse, one of their Camp Nelson rickhouses, and blend them. And I know it's going to be a fantastic product. I've never had it. I'm looking forward to it.
This one's coming from Camp Nelson B.
Okay.
Warehouse B.
Well, there you go. I'm glad we have that knowledge. All great choices. Hey, listen, hopefully these are on your list. If not, drop us a line. Let us know what we should be looking for in 2024. Also, hit the subscribe button and that thumbs up. And to round out our top 12, I'll give you my top 3. Fellas, I reached out to our buddy Chaim Litvin, the Bourbon Rabbi.
Yep.
The Bourbon Rabbi has a new product coming out. You're not going to want to miss it. You know how good that honey finished barrel was?
Amazing.
It was subtle.
It
It was,
was.
sophisticated. It was not overly
It was
done.
grown up.
I think the cab barrel
yeah.
even better.
Oh, could be.
So just because of my flavor profile.
Well, he's doing the same treatment that he does with the honey to cinnamon. So are we finally going to have the
Did you
best
just say cinnamon
finished bourbon? It is hell no, it's not Fireball.
Oh, that's what I was getting ready to
Yeah,
ask. So
it
you're
is not
saying
Fireball. It
Chaim's
is
going to do a Fireball. of
no.
bourbons.
He is doing a bourbon that has a subtle, cool cinnamon finish, and I cannot wait for this
Yeah,
product.
you don't have to put in the freezer.
Exactly. So if you like that spice, if you like that hot, you like that little bit of sizzle on the, I'm sure it's on the back end. Man, it's going to be good.
If there's anybody I would trust to do that, it's him based on the honey barrel because that was amazing. I was so unexpected, I had no expectations for a honey barrel bourbon. It's kind of like, holy crap, Rabbi.
Yeah, I was like, I've got to be nice to this guy. He's so sweet, so nice, and so knowledgeable. I'm going to be nice about this honey. I don't like honey finishes, and it was like, this is good,
wonderful.
Yeah. So that's my number 1.
Right.
Number 2, you guys know I love Peerless. I have more Peerless bottles than anything else. They're going to get in the toasted game. They're going to release a toasted product, and I can't wait.
Sure.
I'm looking for that toasted product that I really want to have on my shelf. You know, I like them. They're okay, but they're not my favorites. So Peerless is really well known for taking bourbon lovers and introducing them to new flavor profiles. So I can't wait for their toasted
So is this a
product.
toasted bourbon or rye?
I believe it's a rye.
Okay.
I believe that's correct. It may be a bourbon. I'm going to have to go back and check now, but whatever it is, I'm buying it.
Whatever it is, whatever it is, there will
Yeah.
be a line outside the distillery that day when
There
they
will
release
be.
it.
And Brent will be number 1. Chuck will be number 2. Brian will be number 3, and I'll be right behind
Hey,
him.
as always, Donna Sinnott will be 2 steps ahead of all of us. Okay. So, and then my third and final one, you know, is akin to what you said about Little Book. I was so pleasantly surprised by Booker's 2303. It was the first time I really enjoyed Booker's that I thought, man, if they can keep this up, this is going to be something I'm going to buy every one of these series as long as they're still good. And so those are my 3. And that rounds out our top 12. There's a few honorable mentions out there that I think are worthy. I can't wait to taste the Eclipse from Casey Jones.
Absolutely.
That's going to be good.
The Traveler from Buffalo Trace,
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton. That's going to be a good one for us to try once we get our hands on it.
Which is a blend, something
It's
unique.
whiskey. It's not even, man. From all the reviews I've read and all the things I've watched, they think there's some Canadian whiskey in there somewhere, which is crazy because, I mean, Chris Stapleton comes from Kentucky, Buffalo Trace, Kentucky. I don't know.
Yeah. Is Weller CYPB going to get their act together and produce something?
Never. I will say that right now. There will Weller CYPB. Y'all go buy it all you want to. Spend the $500 you want to. It's just not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me either.
Well, with that said, that's our list of top 12 whiskeys for 2024. Please drink responsibly.